And what are you planning on watching this spooky season? Well, judging by the stack of movies and specials I have in front of you, this is a compiled list of all the things I have to watch as an annual thing for Halloween. I try my best to get into Halloween watching about mid-September, and it carries all the way through, of course, the October season, and sometimes if there's a few stragglers left behind, then I may watch it like the first or second week of November. I try my best to get in as many movies of both specials and horror films as I can, but I don't always get the chance. So I did want to compile, in this case, a stack of movies. If anything, this would be my go-to watch list every single year. An annual tradition, if you will. I always try to watch the following things that we're going to have a look at. And I certainly would challenge you, invite you as well to come into the idea. Let me know down below in the comment section. What is your annual watch movie list when it comes to Halloween? I have these not necessarily in a particular order. I suppose I do. I mean, I have the Halloweens in the orders of importance, the horror films, that is. And I've got the specials also in the way that I'd like to, not necessarily watch them, but the ones I have to watch the most, in most priority to less priority. We're going to start with the top of the list, and right at the very top is one I have to watch as an annual tradition. This is Witches' Night Out. It does also feature 10 Halloween cartoons, but they're basically just straggler cartoons that they just picked and plucked from things, I guess, that were copyright free that they could throw in there as well. This is a family special for the first time on DVD. It stars Gilda Radner, and it's all about actually a witch that comes and befriends a trio of children that all want to dress in spooky costumes. Well, the witch not only gives them a chance to dress in spooky costumes, but to also become the monsters they've always wanted to be, like a werewolf, a ghost, and Frankenstein's monster. I remember watching this first when I was a little tiny kid, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember the name of the special. I searched around online. I was looking up witch. I was looking up babysitting kids, turning kids to monsters. And sure enough, I finally found a copy of Witches' Night Out. Now, I did actually originally buy a copy of it over on eBay. It was simply just one that was recorded off of TV. And finally, though, I did get the chance to get a physical copy of Witches' Night Out. This is something... Unfortunately, my wife does not like this as much, but this is something I always annually have to watch, Witches' Night Out. Not something I want to watch as much as Witches' Night Out, but certainly still an annual tradition for me. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown has had many specials all relating to holidays. The only ones that are really the most interested to me are Halloween and Christmas. Those are really the bookmark ones that I always watch for Charlie Brown. I mean, he's done Thanksgiving. He's done Valentine's Day. I think he's even done Memorial Day. But the ones I'm always the most interested in is It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and, of course, Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown, or Charlie Brown's Christmas, also known by many. This one, again, is just a single standalone, although I think it does also include, we need a blockbuster Charlie Brown. I don't think I ever even watched it. It has been released countless times over. And I think, in fact, at this time, this year, I don't think It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown is actually being aired on TV. It's been moved, I think, to Amazon Prime or something along those lines. This is, again, an annual tradition for me. Not maybe as high as Witches' Night Out, but one I still have to watch every single year. Another annual tradition of mine to always watch, Devious may be able to relate to this, is Garfield's Halloween adventure. Kind of along the same lines as Charlie Brown. Bookmarking it, I always watch the October Garfield special, and I always watch the Christmas Garfield special as well. This actually benefits from having both. It has Garfield's Halloween Adventure, and it has Garfield's Thanksgiving, which I don't think I may have watched that years ago, but I haven't watched anything of that since. And then, of course, there's Garfield's Christmas. These two are always ones I watch every single year, and really between the two, unlike Charlie Brown, which I always want to watch both the specials in both October and December, Garfield's Halloween special is always the one I want to watch, and if I get the chance to watch it in December, I always watch Garfield's Christmas, but this is always the one I want to go to first and foremost. I don't think it's ever gotten a release on its own either, so I think the only way you can get Garfield's Halloween Adventure is by getting the 3-pack that comes included, again, with Thanksgiving and Christmas. Bookmarking both of those. I could care really less about Thanksgiving. Another annual tradition of mine, unbeknownst to my wife, who doesn't really care to watch this special. She thinks it's absolutely silly. This is also a special I watched when I was first a kid, and I couldn't remember the name of it. I thought for a while it was called The Boogedy Man. Looking online, I couldn't find anything relating to the Boogeyman until realizing later it was called Mr. Boogedy. Sure enough, I signed up to the Disney Movie Plus. It was a movie club thing for you could buy DVDs and Blu-rays. I actually only exclusively signed up to that club, more so to buy Mr. Boogedy, because I think it was only available through their online site. This 2-pack also features Bride of Boogedy, which admittingly isn't as good as Mr. Boogedy. It has David Faustino in it also as well, that many of you may remember from Married with Children. But the original one, the classic one, is all about a Mr. Boogedy, a man who liked to scare the children. And eventually when he died, he became a haunted ghost inside of a mansion that a prank joke store owner and his family move into. And hilarity ensues. Again, Bride of Boogedy is one you could pass on altogether. But if you do ever get the chance, and you don't mind a sillier Halloween special, Mr. Boogedy is always an annual classic for me. Then we kind of get into the horror films. Now, again, there's so many other horror films outside of what you're going to be seeing here. If I get the chance and I have the opportunity to kind of get other movies in there, then yes, I will watch those every single year. But if I have the go-to and I only have tight amount of time to actually work with, these are the movies right here. As I move my hand up and down, these are always the movies I go to every single year. And the one I always seem to want to start with is called Ragman, or some may also know it as Trick or Treat. I generally only go by Trick or Treat. Now, this one actually is a European release because Trick or Treat was never released here in North America. Thank goodness, though, at least this copy does play. And it's all basically about a boy who's bullied in school, and actually his longtime favorite metal singer actually ends up dying. And he ends up finding, or at least he is given an album that when played backwards is possessed by this long deceased metal singer. It's a really interesting movie. It's one of which I always watch every single year. In fact, like last year, this year as well, I watched this first before I watched anything else. Again, it's a really fun movie. Of the trick-or-treats, this is the third trick-or-treat. I think it's actually the first trick-or-treat. There was also trick-or-treats, and there's also this one as well, trick-or-treat. But this is always one I watch before all the other trick-or-treats. Speaking of trick-or-treats, we also have, of course, the classic with Sam. I say classic, early 2000s. Trick-or-Treat, we are finally now getting ourselves a sequel to Trick-or-Treat. And this is one I generally keep to closer near to October, near the end of October when Halloween actually happens. I usually watch this around either the day before Halloween or even on Halloween night. It so happens because I've exhausted all the other movies I wanted to watch this year and probably aren't planning to do anything else outside of what we're seeing here. I'm going to watch Trick or Treat on Halloween night. A classic. If you like the anthology horror films, Trick or Treat is one of the best. And again, because it also includes a holiday, it makes for a good annual tradition, one that you would want to watch every single year. If you haven't had a chance, watch Trick or Treat. Definitely give it a watch. Then we move on to Myers territory. Now, of course, there's a lot more than the 5 that I've got listed or stacked right here. Some would also make some argument as to why one movie should be included as an annual tradition, while others maybe be left out completely. I did put this at least in order of my personal interest. So the one on the top, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, is my go-to right away when it comes to a Michael Myers movie. Then from there, sort of sprinkles and spirals its way down. You may notice there's no Rob Zombie's Halloween. I never include that unless I have a lot of time. Last year, for example, I started early in September. I don't know how it ended up happening. I must have been watching 2 movies a night. I ended up getting a chance to watch both Rob Zombie's Halloween. As for the new trilogy, though, I'm not going to even get started on that. The new trilogy I watched both Halloween and the 2018. I watched Halloween Kills leading up to Halloween Ends. We're not going to talk about Halloween Ends. Disappointing movie. It certainly was. That's not something I'll tell you. It will be an annual tradition next year. That might be, again, like Rob Zombie's Halloween's, one that I watch only if I have the time. But on to the ones that have to go to, the go-to Halloween Michael Myers movies. The first one being the biggest one for me is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, some would say, of course, you would want to go with the 78 classic before that. I think Halloween 4, for me at least, is a more entertaining, fun ride than the 78. I still love the 78. In fact, the 78 is the next one on my list. But if I ever have the chance where maybe I don't even have enough time to watch a Halloween marathon that year, the one I always have to say I have to watch above all others is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Then, though, on to the original one, the classic 78. This is the Halloween, of course, the original one, the one that started it all, and of course the only one that's canon according to the new trilogy. Let's not ever talk about the trilogy again. I'm sure I don't even have to describe exactly what Halloween, the franchise, is to anybody. I'm sure by now many of you have already watched all the Halloween films with Michael Myers, but if you are new to it, Michael Myers basically kills his sister. I know, I'm telling a tale as old as time. He kills his sister, goes to a psych ward, and basically breaks out and proceeds to kill teenagers on Halloween night. Again, hilarity ensues. If I have the chance and I only get the chance to watch 2 movies, Halloween 4 will be the first one, then 78. I have left off Halloween 2. Halloween 2, again, is a great movie, but it's not one that I have to watch every single year. What I do have to watch, though, is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, I wanted to use this as the example because all the other ones that we were looking at here are actually from the Halloween box set. This is one from the original Shout Factory, Scream Factory release. And because I love the cover so much, even though I'm sure the newer one has better bonus features to it, I always like to use this one. This is always the one I like to watch every single year because I just love the cover to it. This is the 30th anniversary Silver Shamrock edition with some Scream Factory extras. I mean, how many times have we gotten ourselves a Halloween 3? More importantly, I mean, any of the Michael Myers movies from Scream Factory. Again, this is all about the Silver Shamrock masks. Again, I'm probably telling you guys all stuff you already know, but this is one I always have to watch every single year. The closer to Halloween, the better. This is always one I like to kind of keep closer to the 31st. I have already watched this, but by the time I'm sure you're watching this video, this is probably already either Halloween or it's even a couple of days after that. But this is always one I have to watch. The next one on my list of go-tos for an annual tradition is Halloween H2O. Now that we've had the chance, by the way, to watch the trilogy, the newest trilogy, 2018, Kills and Ends, I have even more fan base or fan interest in Halloween H2O than I ever did before. Halloween H2O for me was the proper successor, I think, to where Laurie Strode's story had to go, not the abysmal stuff we got in the trilogy. That's just my own personal opinion. Halloween H20, I know, or Halloween Water, some would even joke by saying, is for me just a fun thrill ride, very much in line with the stuff we were getting from Scream, but it still works quite well for Michael Myers. It's one of my favorite Michael Myers as well. Chris Durand, I believe, played Michael in this movie. One of my favorite Michael Myers, one of my favorite masks, even though you do see his eyes. Halloween H20, or H2O, is one of my go-to favorites. And the last one of ones that I have to watch every single year is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. There's the producer's cut. There's also, of course, the theatrical director's cut. The one I always want to watch, though, is the theatrical cut. I don't like to watch the producer's cut. I don't need to see Michael Myers being defeated by rune stones. What was that all about? But Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers. If you can overlook the idea that it's all related to a cult, then it's actually one of the more entertaining Halloween films out there. Certainly one of the scariest Michael Myers masks, I feel, is The Curse of Michael Myers mask. Again, this is one I always have to watch. At the time of even shooting this video, I haven't even watched Curse of Michael Myers. In fact, looking at all the movies, because we're a little bit later now into October, looking at all the things we've covered off in this video, the only things I haven't yet had the chance to see is Trick or Treat and Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween. And I'm probably, again, going to keep the Trick or Treat for Halloween night, which leads only actually, we only would have had 2 nights before that, because Halloween this year is on the Monday. So I'll want to watch Trick or Treat on Monday night. So probably I'll, over the weekend, get a chance to bang through Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, and maybe I might even put in there Rob Zombie's Halloween. Not from interest of my own, but because the person I'm watching the movies with seems to like the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I know, it doesn't make any sense at all, but this is my go-to list. This is my stack of movies that are my annual go-to watch list for Halloween. What is your watch list for Halloween? Let me know down below in the comments section. Do you have maybe some of the ones that we discussed in this video, or is your list completely different? And the list that you'll provide me down below in the comments section, is this one that you always watch annually? If you had the choice, and you don't have a lot of time on your hands, what is your go-to watch list when it comes to Halloween? Let me know down below in the comments section. And as well, if you enjoyed this video, hit it with a like. If you're loving the content you're seeing and do want to stick around for more, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the bell notification. And again, while we have wrapped up my watch list of Halloween, there might still be some spooky-related videos coming your way during the month, what's left of it, of Spottober. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.